Hello, everybody. Welcome to Codedex's very first live stream. We're super excited to be here with you all this evening. Um, if people are coming in from the other chat because of the technical difficulties, type in the chat where is everybody calling in from, and also what's the time right now for you? I think we have a 20-second delay. Oh, hey, Eugene's here. Yo, what up, Eugene? Eugene is from, what's KL? By the way, Eugene, can you hear us? Type in the chat if you can, if everything's good. Nice. Cool. All right. We'll just keep going, and hopefully other people will jump in from the other one. Cool. All right, folks. Well, this is Introduction to Command Line, the live stream. Today's Tuesday, September 27th, and we're going to talk about one of the core tools that developers use every single day since almost the beginning of time, beginning of computing, let's jump into the slides. So table of contents, this live streams will be divided up into 4 sections. We got the introduction for about 10 minutes. We'll get into the history and the why behind command line. That'll be another 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna turn it over to Dharma, and we're gonna learn about the common commands in the command line. And then lastly, we got a questions and answers section at the very end, the last 10 minutes. By the way, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. Malcolm here is gonna tell us if there are any great questions here. Oh, nice, Eugene, 8 a.m. Very nice, cool. It's actually 8 p.m. here, so 12-hour difference. All right. Cool. The introduction. What is Codédex? So Codédex is a brand new learn-to-code platform for K through 12 and also college students. Okay, the team is based in Brooklyn, New York, and our mission really is to try to truly empower the next generation of builders and dreamers, and hopefully help them create very meaningful software and hardware for our planet. Okay. We started about June of this year, and we're super excited. We got tons of things coming out very soon. So for today's live stream, we got 2 instructors. Me, I'm Sunny, by the way, if you didn't know. I'm the founder and chief vibes officer at Codédex, and I recently left Codecamp to start Codédex. This is something I've been wanting to do for years, and finally, I'm doing it. And then Dharma, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I am Dharma, and I'm the founding software engineer at Codédex. And I was a software instructor at Bloomtech before, and I left it for building Codédex. So welcome to the stream, and let's everyone enjoy ourselves, right?
Cool.
Back to you, Sunny.
Cool. And we also have Malcolm here, our customer success manager. He's going to be in the chat to moderate things if needed. And now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the next part, which is what is CLI? What is CLI? Okay. So CLI stands for Command Line Interface. It is a program that allows users to type text commands instructing the computer to do specific tasks. If you see a movie show or a TV show, if you see a movie or TV show with hackers, hacking away on their computer, most of the time it's in the terminal, okay? And before we get started into the history of it, I'm gonna demo 2 different commands to give you a little preview of the command line, okay? So I'm gonna navigate to this screen, whoops. And you can open up your terminal. Here, let me cancel this. If you're on the Mac, you can use the Spotlight and search for terminal, okay? Here I have the terminal in my dock already, so I'm gonna open that one more time. I'm gonna make it a little bigger so you all can see. So the 2 commands I'm gonna try. One is the robot voice, and the other is the ASCII calendar, okay? So how do we make the computer make a robot voice? Very simple. There's a say command in your terminal. Okay, so let's try it out. I'm I'm going to type in say and hi, Eugene. And hopefully you can hear it. I don't know if this will work. I'm going to hit enter.
Hi, Eugene.
Did you hear that? And let's do one more. I think we got Maru in the chat. So hi, say hi, Maru. Boom.
Hi, Maro.
Very simple. Nice. Cool. The next one, another little preview, is the ASCII calendar. Okay, so you can display the calendar inside your terminal. So I'm going to type in CAL. Okay, hit enter. And boom. You have a little ASCII calendar. I'm going to move this down a little bit. Cool. CAL. So there's just two things that you could do in the terminal. All right. Now let's get into some history lesson. So let's rewind time a little bit, okay? So the earliest computers did not support interactive input and output devices. The very early computers before 1960s actually relied on sense switches and also lights to communicate with computer operator. Okay, very super primitive machines. And then in the 1960s, CLI, command line interfaces, became popular. Okay, so back then, all the OG programmers had only a keyboard and an input device. Oh, sorry, the input as the input device. And the computer screen could only display text information, as you can see right here on the left. All right. So operating systems like the Microsoft DOS use the CLI basically as the user interface, right? Later on, the mouse was invented, GUI, graphical user interface was invented. So this is what we use mostly today, okay? But I'm gonna tell you why people still use command line, okay? So why do developers still use it? This is something I actually wonder myself. So first, developers sometimes use CLI over GUI because it requires less resource. Okay, it can do the same task with minimum resources. Second, it's super precise. Okay, you can target specific directories, files, very easily. Okay. Whereas for GUI, you have to, click into a folder, click into another folder, click into another folder to find the same file, right? And with command line, you can do this with a single command. Third, repetitive tasks. It's repetitive tasks friendly. You can automate a huge task with a single command. Similar to, precision here, but a lot of different things that you can do. And then lastly, it's very powerful. A lot of the operating system now, the way it's built, is that it doesn't give the user the full control with GUI, right? It doesn't want the user to mess up everything. But with command line, you have total control over your system. Okay, so this is why developers still use it as well as using the GUI. All right, and now I'm going to turn it over to Dharma to get into some common commands. I'm going to mute myself, Dharma. Do you want to share screen?
Sure.
Cool.
I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
Is this visible?
Here, let me move it over. Yeah, let me move it over. Give me a quick second. Boom. And then boom. There we go. I want to make yours. Cool. We good?
Cool. Okay. So this is the section that we are going to type in, so learn about some commands, type in some commands, and at the very end, undertake a small exercise just to understand how these work in a real life scenario or in a project, right? How you can use them every day. So, command line. So we have to open up terminal if you're on Mac, which Sunny showed you moments ago. So you need to open up your Spotlight and type in terminal, and that you should be good to go. But if you're on Windows machine like me, you need to open up git bash right here. So you hit your Windows key and type in git bash, right? And you should be good to go, right? I'm gonna zoom in, right here. Cool. Is this visible?
Yep. Yep. You're good.
Okay, cool. Cool. So I kept a dual window type of screen shared so that like I can easily follow along with the slides, but like you can keep the terminal in any way that you want, right? So this is what the terminal looks like. I know, like it feels quite scary. Like you haven't done this before, or if you have, like maybe you're still scared at seeing this black screen with nothing but a cursor blinking out of the screen, right? Like I was freaked out when I first saw this. Like, what the hell? Like, how am I supposed to interact with this? Right? Freaked out. That was just frequent, and like it was just comfortable for me to see icons, to click on icons, because that felt secure to me, right? But in the terminal where you have nothing but a black screen and some text showing up, it can definitely get scary. So if you are scary, don't worry about it. Like we are gonna be perfectly fine. And yeah, I just don't want you to have the same experience that I had first time when I was trying to learn terminal by myself, right? So that's the terminal screen, right? And the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up File Explorer on Windows, and that should be Finder on your MacBook if you're using MacBook, right? So I'm gonna hit my Windows key, open up File Explorer, and navigate to the Documents folder. So everyone using, even if you're on the Mac, you should have a Documents folder. If you're on Windows like me, you should have a Documents folder, right? So this is my Documents folder. It has a couple of directories inside of it, right? A couple of folders, and you should have the same on your computer too, right? So when we were talking about command line interface, why did I suddenly pull up my File Explorer or Finder on your Mac, right? Like what's the need of doing that, right? So the base idea that I need you to understand with a command line interface is that you always start at some place in your file system directories, right? So when you open up your File Explorer, right now I am in this PC inside the Documents directory, right? Similarly, whenever you see this cursor blinking over here, you are always at some point in your file system, right? You are inside some directory. It's not visible right now. You cannot see anything, right? Like this might look different to you based on your username, your computer name, right? But this is what it looks like to me, right? This tilde sign. Now, the next thing that I want you to do here is type in CD, right? CD, and hit space, right? And then what we're gonna do here in the File Explorer is I'm gonna right click and create a new folder, new directory, and I'm gonna name it Codédex, right? So I name it Codédex. I created a new folder, I name it Codédex, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and drag it over to my terminal and drop it, right? So you should have this mysterious looking text showing up. It would be different for you based on what computer you're using and how your file structure is oriented, right? But this is what it looks like for me. And now I'm gonna hit enter, right? Cool. So what we did just now is exactly the same operation that we do on double-clicking folders inside of your File Explorer or Finder, right? So when you want to navigate into a directory or out of a directory, you typically double-click it, right? And you enter the directory. Like that's the normal way that we are trained to use our computers, right? So because we can see it, we can see the folder over here, it was easier for us to just double click it. But there's no clicking in the terminal. Like if it's just text, all of it is text, right? So like that was the first part that I wanted you to notice. The second part is, did you see when I dragged and dropped the folder from my file explorer into the terminal, it auto-filled something. It auto-filled this part right here for me. That means that we have the file explorer as well as the terminal on the same computer. It's part of the same system, right? Like that shows us that it's just different ways of doing the same thing, right? It's part of the same computer. Whether you're using your file explorer to navigate your files and directories, or you're using your terminal, we're doing the same thing, right? And we'll talk more about it, right? So the file explorer seems more comfortable to use because we can see stuff easily inside of it, right? So right now, if I look at this address bar over here, I can see that I am inside this PC, inside the documents folder, and I have a Codédex folder inside of it, right? That's how I know what my location is, where I actually am inside this PC, right? We don't have stuff like that showing up in the terminal, right? You can see this part. You can see what my username is and what my computer's name is, right? But like it's you don't have anything showing up, right? So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna type in pwd, right? The command is pwd, right? And it stands for printing the working directory.
Wait, Dharma,
Right?
make sure to
So
can you
I'm
show
gonna hit enter over here, and it's gonna show me where exactly I am, which directory I'm inside of when I'm using my terminal, right? So if you didn't notice till now, you can also see the same thing with this prompt right here that gets displayed. So earlier I was at this location, and then I changed it to this Codédex folder. So this is the last part in the slashes. The very last part is the directory that you're inside of, that you're working out of, and you can also type in the full path where you're inside of using the command pwd.
Wait, Dharma, hold on a second. Can you
print working directory?
Dharma, can you hear me?
Oh.
Yeah.
And we don't have to type anything like that in the file explorer. It's just visible over here in the address bar, right? But like that's the command that we use to print out the working directory. Cool.
Wait, Dharma, can you hear me?
Now, we already used another command before, but I did not talk much about it. I just told you to drag and drop the folder from your file explorer inside the terminal. But let's talk about the cd command, right? Cd command. So before we talk about that, I'm gonna go here and create a new folder, call it lesson 1, right? So now we are inside of the Codédex folder directory, and inside of the Codédex directory, we have lesson 1 directory inside of it, right? So what I'm gonna do now is, if I wanna navigate inside of lesson 1 folder, I'm gonna double click it, right? And if I'm gonna navigate out of lesson 1 folder back into the Codédex directory, I'm gonna hit the up arrow key or the back arrow, right? Both of these work. So how can you do the same, like if the terminal and the file explorer are part of the same system, how can we follow the same procedure on the terminal as well? So we use the cd command, right? Or it stands for changing the directory, right? Like it's so, like once you start practicing it, it's so intuitive to use, right? So changing the directory. So right now, we can just print out like, we are inside the Codédex directory right now, but you want to switch into the lesson 1 directory. So I'm gonna set cd space, and I'm gonna type in lesson 1, right? So this is what it looks like. And if I hit enter now, you should see that, hey, earlier I was in the Codédex directory, but now I'm one level deeper into my directory structure, and I'm into the lesson one folder, right? I can create another folder inside, another directory inside of my lesson one folder and call it like, sub lesson one, right? And if I want to navigate that using my graphical user interface, my file explorer, I'm gonna double click it. And if I want to navigate using my terminal, I'm gonna say sub lesson one, right? So you must be noticing that when I'm typing the command, when I'm typing the name of the folder or the directory, I'm not typing the entire name. I'm just typing a couple of characters at the beginning, and then it gets completed, right? Like, how's that happening? So that behavior happens when you type in some matching string, some matching part of the name of your directory, and then you hit tab, right? When you hit tab, your terminal auto-completes it for you based on its records, right? So I hit, even if I write S or SU, and I hit tab, it auto-completes it for me, right? Cool. So I'm gonna hit enter now, and I have now, you can see that I've changed my directory to sublesson one. And you can also test that out with the pwd command or print working directory command, right? Cool. Okay, so we talked about two commands, print working directory or pwd, and cd or change directory or pwd. But like, there's also another part of change directory command which is so intuitive that like we every time we navigate into a directory, we also navigate out of a directory, right? So right now I'm in sublesson one, and I click the up arrow button over here, and I navigate out of it. I hit it again, I'm now into Codédex directory, right? So how can you do the same thing with terminal? I told you, like, it's the same thing. Like, you're clicking something or you're typing in commands, like, it's part of the same system, you're doing the same thing, right? So you do cd space, and then if you want to jump to the previous directory, the parent directory, the top level directory, what you're gonna do is you're gonna type in dot, right? So cd space and dot or period, right? And when you hit enter, you're gonna go one level above in the directory structure that you're in, right? So if I hit enter now, earlier I was in sublesson one, now I'm in, if I type in pwd, you can see that I'm in lesson one directory, right? I was in sublesson one, but then my directory changed, and now I'm in lesson one directory, right? So if you want to go like two levels above, so like right now, let's go back into sublesson one, and if I want to go directly into my Codédex directory, I'm gonna say cd space dot /dot, right? So like one dot is for my going to the parent directory, and the second dot is for going to the parent directory of the parent directory, right? So if I hit enter now, I'm gonna go directly to the Codédex folder, which is two levels above the sublesson folder, right? So we have the Codédex folder, we have the lesson one folder, and then the sublesson one folder, right? So we jump two folders in a single command, and now we are in the Codédex folder, right? Is this, do we have any questions?
Wait, Dharma, can you hear me? Dharma, can
Hang
you?
on, Sunny, I needed to change my,
Cool. Can you hear me now, Dharma?
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, can you move the Codédex let's move this down, drag it down a little bit so people can see all the commands being written. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Is this, can you see it now?
No, because so I was talking about the slides. Yeah, like if you could go back. Oh, I see. You didn't type it. I thought you were typing it. Never mind. Never mind. Are there any
Oh, yeah.
are there any questions in the chat?
Yeah. That was what I was gonna ask Malcolm.
Jay, Maru, Eugene.
I don't see any questions yet.
Cool. Let's continue then.
But don't hesitate to ask
Okay.
anyone.
Yeah, sure. Cool. So we talked about two commands, pwd command and change directory command, right? We understood how we can navigate into a folder, into a directory, and out of a directory, right? We navigate how we navigated through two levels of directories, right? And like the same logic goes for going into the directory too. So right now I'm in my Codédex folder. And if I want to go a directory to the sublist one folder, I can say /1 / sublist one, right? So if I hit enter now, I'm gonna jump in two directories and land directly inside my sublist one folder, right? So I was in Codédex before, and now I'm in /1 sublist one, right? And then if I want to jump two directories out of it, I'm going to say // So that links you to the Codédex.
By the way, Dharma, can you go to the next slide so people can, see
Oh,
see
yeah.
all the commands? There we go.
Sure.
There we go. Yeah. So I think this is
Cool.
a very important slide.
Yeah. So that was the second command that we talked about. Now, we also did something else when we were talking about changing our directories, and that was we made the /1 directory, and then I made another directory called sublist1 as part of the Codédex directory, right? So I hit right click, I went to this new drop down, and then I hit on folder. So that's how I created /2. So that's how I was creating new directories, right? So if the terminal and the file explorer are part of the same system and they are connected, there must be some way to create new directories as well, right? So the command that we're going to use to make new directories is, does anyone want to take a guess in the chat? I guess you already saw it, but still, like if you missed it, go on, give it a shot in the chat.
The moment of truth.
Yeah.
So what was the question again? What is the command to create a new file?
Yeah, take a guess. What's the command to make a new directory?
No takers? Ooh, okay. Maru got it.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, no, not quite. Wait, oh, you said directory?
Yeah,
Dharma?
I said directory.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Maru got it right. Well played.
Yeah, awesome. So, like we said, like it's sometimes the commands are the abbreviations of the words, right? Like not the exact abbreviation, like not taking the first character, but taking parts of the word that you're speaking together. So you want to make a new directory, right? The command to make a new directory is mkdir. That's mkdir, or make directory, right? So like before, I'm going to type in mkdir, and then I'm going to pass in the name of the directory that I want it to be named as, right? So we have /1 here, we have /2 here. I'm gonna type in /3, and once I hit enter, you should see the same directory appear over here too, because like I said, it's both part of the same system. You're both doing the same thing, right? Whether you are creating, right-clicking here and doing the manual stuff, or you're just writing one simple command, right? And this is where the power of command line or terminal command comes in, right? So if you wanted to create like 5 folders, you would have to right-click each time, go here to the drop-down, click on folder, type in the name. Like that's too much work, right? Like the same process over and over. And computers are extremely better at doing repetitive tasks than us doing them manually, right? So if I wanted to create like 3 more folders, I can just do mkdir lesson 4, and then I can pass in as many names of the directories or new folders that I want to create. So I can create lesson 5, lesson 6, and the list can go on. And if I hit enter now, it's going to create all of these 3 directories. So it created lesson 4 for me.
Nice.
It created lesson 5 for me. It created lesson 6 for me, right? So Sunny talked about one of a few of the advantages of using command line over your file explorer or your graphical user interface, right? This is one of them, right? It makes doing repetitive stuff so much easier. Like you will fly to using your computer if you properly get a grasp of using command line, right? So cool. So we just created a couple of directories inside our Codédex folder, right? And we talked about a couple of commands. Now let's do a quick recap. So we talked about PWD, print work, that's printer working directory.
Yeah, Dharma, let's show the slide one more time just so people can see it.
Sure.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
So we talked about PWD. That's the print working directory. If you want to check where you are, which directory you're inside of in your terminal, you're going to type in the PWD command. Right now I'm inside of the Codédex directory. That's what's going to be showing up right here. Next, we talked about the cd command or the change directory command, and that you're going to use to. So earlier I talked about how I can autocomplete with hitting tab, right? So if you see inside of our Codédex directory, we have a couple of folders that are named lesson, right? So now, if I type in L and if I hit tab, it's not going to complete the entire name for me. It's going to complete till the most similar common name that it finds, which is lesson for all of these, and then it's going to stop, right? And then if I hit enter once more, it's going to show me that, hey, you have all of these things that start with lesson, right? I hit tab twice and it showed me that, hey, like I found a couple of lists of things, of directories that are starting with lesson. Make sure you want to choose one of them so that I know where exactly you want to navigate into, right? So I'm going to choose lesson 4, right? So cd lesson 4, and now if I hit enter, now I'm into lesson 4 directory, right? So that was pretty neat stuff. Cool. Then we talked about creating new directories, right? In the file explorer finder, you typically do this stuff, manual stuff, but in command line, you just have text. You're gonna type in a command and type in the name of the directory that I want to create. So I want to create lesson7, and then you can also create multiple directories. Just pass in the names of as many directories as you want to create, and it will create all of them in one shot, right? You don't have to right click, name the folder, hit enter. Like you don't have to do that. Just type in the name and you're done. Type in the command and you're done. Cool. Okay. So we are talking about file system. It literally has file inside of it, right? File system is made of both. It has directories, containers, right? We call them directories, we call them folders. And then what do you have inside of these folders? We have files that we want to nest, that we want to keep bunched up together, that we want to like segregate, right? That we want to, right? So how do we create new files using the command line interface, right? So how are we going to do that? So we're going to do the same process again. So in Windows, you can click on new, you can create a new file like this and name it like sub lesson2 edit.txt, right? I just created an empty file. It doesn't have anything on it. You can see its size. It says 0 kilobytes. And right now I'm in lesson 2, right? So how can I do the same process with the terminal, right? So first, I want you to notice that right now I'm not in the lesson 2 folder. So even if I type commands over here, it's not gonna happen in lesson 2. It's gonna happen in the Codédex folder. So first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the cd command and type in the name of the lesson 2. I'm gonna navigate into the lesson 2 folder directory, and now I'm gonna type in the touch command. That's touch, right? Touch. And with touch, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pass in the name like before, like you did with make directory. You pass in the name of the directory that you wanna create, and you type in the command at the beginning, right? So touch is the command that you use to create new files, right? So now that I type touch, I hit space, and then I'm gonna type in the name of the file that I want to create. So if I want to create sublesson2 content.txt, and if I hit enter, that should show up, right? So I created the content file that wasn't there before, but now it's there. You can see it. Cool. And like with the make directory command, like how we created multiple directories, the same logic gets applied with the touch command as well. So we can do self listen to heading.txt, so listen to content.txt. So if I want to create 2 files at this in one shot, in one command, I'm going to type in the name of, I'm going to type in the command, I'm going to type in individual names of the files, and then I'm going to hit enter. So once I hit enter now, it's going to create both of those files in one single command, right? And like, it doesn't matter if you want to do like create like 1,000 files, 10,000 files, right? It's going to do it in a single command. And like in advanced usages of terminals, like you don't even have to type in the names this way. Like if there's a sequence repeating of numbers, you can just you just have to type in one command, and that doesn't have to include the names of all the files manually, right? So that's the real power of terminal. So it's efficient. It just tears down repetitive tasks, and the more you use it, the more efficient you get at it, right? So we talked about a couple of commands until now. We talked about the print working directory, that's PWD. We talked about CD, the changing the current working directory inside terminal. We talked about how we're gonna create new directories. We talked about touch, right, to create new files. But there's still something missing when we look at the command line or the terminal, and that is our ability to know what's inside of a directory, right? So let me navigate back to my Codédex directory, and you can see that, hey, I know I'm inside of the Codédex directory right now, same as over here. But what I don't see is the names of all of these directories that are inside of it. Like, how am I gonna know if whatever directory or whatever file I'm looking for is inside of the Codédex directory, right? So you can see all of those directories listed over here, but that doesn't show up in the terminal, right? So the command that we're gonna use to list the directories and files inside of a directory is called the ls command, right? That's ls, so list, right? You're gonna list. So you hit ls and you hit enter, and you're gonna see that, hey, you have all of these directories that are inside of your Codédex directory, right? And if I create another file, summary.txt, inside my Codédex folder, right, that should show up. So I just created summary, and then if I hit ls now, you're gonna see a difference, right? So all of these directories might show up in different color depending on what terminal you're using, but the difference you're gonna see is each directory will have a / at the very end of it, but files won't have it, right? So if you have a file, if you have a file called summary.txt, like the way I created it, it shouldn't have a / at the back of it because it's not a directory, right? You cannot navigate into it, right? Cool.
Cool.
So that's the ls command, right? So you're gonna list all the directories and files that are inside of the current working directory inside the terminal, right? Cool. So we talked about pwd, we talked about cd, we talked about kdir, we talked about touch, we talked about ls, and now for the final command, like a bonus command, I'm gonna open this up, and in the summary file, I'm gonna type in hello, and I saved it. I'm gonna save it, and then I'm gonna close my text editor window, right? So that was very easy to do with my graphical user interface, right? But how can I read like what's inside of a file? Like I don't have, so the terminal gives me interface to change directories, create directories, make new files, right? To see what are the contents of a directory, but we haven't seen any commands that we can use to see what's inside of a file, right? So to do that, we're gonna use the cat command, cat, like the cat, and like that's out of the concatenate command, like that's like I think it's the short form of the concatenate command, and then you pass in the name of the file that I want to read. So I edited the summary.txt file. So I'm gonna write in cat space the name of the file. So I'm gonna read summary.txt. I'm gonna say cat space summary.txt, right? If I hit enter now, it's gonna show me, hey, I typed in hello world inside of it. Okay. You can open up the same file again. Notepad. I'm gonna say hello, and wait, I'm gonna save it. And now if I hit cat summary.txt again, it's gonna show that, hey, earlier we just said hello world, now we also have hello from Sunny and Dharma, right? So to read the contents of a file without leaving your terminal, without opening any window, right? You can use the cat command, C-A-T, and then pass in the name of the file, and it's gonna print out the entire file in the terminal itself. That's pretty handy, right? Like you don't even have to leave your terminal in order to read your file. And then like with the advanced use cases, like using like text editors like Vim, like right, you can even edit files, but we're not gonna cover that. And then this like Vim is another piece like terminal at VF Slate.
Cool.
So,
all right, Dharma. I think we got to wrap up. It's 10 minutes, so maybe hand it over to me for the last part. Cool.
Cool.
All right.
So, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Cool. I'm gonna share screen. I think we're good. Cool. And let me close this. All right. Let's go to the very last part. All right. So thank you, Dharma, for showing us how to do this. Let's just try to do this together one last time. I actually haven't done this yet on my computer, but you saw how to do it on a Windows system. Let's try to do it on a Mac system, okay? So we want to have a root folder called home. We want to have 3 different folders inside. One's called bedroom, one's called office, and one's called bathroom, okay? And inside each of these folders, we want to create different text files. We want a journal.txt file inside bedroom, another book.txt file inside also bedroom. We want a to-do.txt file inside office, and a magazine.txt file in bathroom. So let's try to do that really quickly, okay? So I'm going to, hold on a second, minimize the screen. All right, keep it here. And since I have my terminal open, I'm gonna move it to the right, okay? Right now, my file path is saying that I am in my root directory. I want to cd to my desktop. Okay, cool. And remember the ls command, the list command. Let's see everything in here. Boom, there are tons of stuff on my desktop. I have a second monitor. That's where I'm hiding everything. So I am going to create a new folder, make dir, and call it home. Let's call it home 2. So we're changing this prompt a little bit. Hit enter, and somewhere on my desktop, there should be a folder called home 2. Okay, I'm going to cd into home 2. Okay, list, there's nothing inside. I can use a clear command, clear my terminal, but I'm still inside home 2, right? So I want to create a new file called bedroom. So make dir bedroom. Hit enter. Now when I go inside, you'll see a bedroom folder. Okay, I'm going to cd back out. Whoops. Home 2. Cool. I'm back in the home 2 folder. And when I ls, there is a single folder called bedroom. And I am going to create a new file. Make dir office. Make dir bathroom. Okay. So now inside my home 2 folder, as you can see, there are 3 files, 3 folders, 3 directories: bedroom, office, bathroom. I'm going to hit ls one last time. Ls, enter, bathroom, bedroom, office. Okay. Let's just do one last part, which is, let's just do this part. Let's not do these two. I'm going to cd change directory into the bedroom directory. Cool. Now I'm inside bedroom. I'm going to create a new file, touch space journal.txt. Okay. And I'm going to do it one more time, touch space book.txt. Okay. So now in the GUI, I'm going to go into bedroom, and you'll see 2 files, book.txt and journal.txt. And let's double check it here one last time. ls, enter. There are 2 files inside. Cool. And there we have it, folks. Command line. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. Next slide, fun commands to try at home. So we actually compiled together a bunch of commands that you can try at home if you want to. So just to showcase the possibilities here, all right? We actually tried out this one, right? Make the computer talk in a robot voice. There's a yes command where you can repeat a phrase in an infinite loop, right? Forever. There is a calendar command, cal, which gets you an ASCII calendar, which we showcased earlier. There's a weather forecast. Okay, this is actually pretty crazy. Let's actually try this together. Just so it's actually pretty crazy how this stuff works. So I'm gonna paste it in here.
But just a small disclaimer, like this won't work for Windows, right? These commands won't work for Windows.
True. Yeah, you gotta. This is the Mac thing only. So I'm gonna zoom out so you can see. And I'm gonna open it pretty big, and boom, you have an ASCII weather, like in real time, right? Brooklyn, New York. It is currently 68 degrees. All right, let's see what else we got. This is actually a pretty crazy one. Watch ASCII Star Wars. I'm gonna copy and paste this one in, hit enter. I think there's some credits, I guess. Cool. And let's see if this works. Oh, there we go. You get a whole ASCII movie inside your terminal.
Yeah.
And boom, there we have it. That's a live stream. Let's do some Q&A in the very... Maru said blazingly fast.
Blazingly fast, yeah.
Cool. There we go. This is, remember the opening scene in Star Wars? Yeah, it's crazy somebody recreated all of this. Cool. Once again, if you didn't know already, you can reach us at team@Codédex.io, and also please check out the website www.Codédex.io. Let us know if you have any product features, ideas, or suggestions, or bugs, or anything. And of course, follow us on social, and let's get into the final portion of the live stream Q&A. Q&A, questions and answers time. Maru got a question. Hey guys, will this be a series? Great question. Not 100% sure. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow and see, is this worth doing? We'll love to keep doing. Like I'll love to keep doing this. There's so many other things like bite-sized things that we could live stream. We're gonna test out maybe different times, different topics, different formats, different length of the live stream, and so on.